And you know, us sports moms have something to say.
Yes, we do.
We'll have a chance to interview across the board, from athletes to the parents to the coaches to even the trainers.
And we're not afraid to share our journey. We're not afraid to tell other moms what we went through in order to raise up a student athlete. So I believe that it's inspirational.
We able to tell our story, the good and the bad.
We can give back positive information.
Absolutely.
You know, we can empower them.
Yes, I think it's time for the mothers to be a voice.
Yes.
That's it.
It's time for us to let you know what's going on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Shannon at Can We Talk Sports, and I am here with...
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Karen in the house.
We're going to get better. We're going to get better, y'all. I'm trying with her. All right, so it's our anniversary. Tomorrow, 3 years. What with that sexy man? What? Gene Autry Mason. Give him a snap, 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 snap.
All right. Happy anniversary.
And it's my birthday. I got married on my birthday.
What?
Yeah.
You get 2 presents?
Bam.
You knew what you was doing, girl.
I sure did, y'all.
It's your birthday. Do you want to go ahead and sing happy birthday?
No.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
We're going to stick to hosting.
Right. I'm not going to give up my day job.
Listen, Jaden was singing. I said, ooh, stick to basketball. She was singing. I was like, oh, my God, stick to basketball.
Oh,
so, yes, it is our anniversary, 3 years, and my birthday tomorrow. And then Father's Day on Sunday. So we get a bam, 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 bam.
Oh.
Yeah. Gifts all week. What? That's how you do it.
That's how you do it, baby.
That's how you do it, baby. So I'm pretty excited about it. So I got one eye. I'm waiting to see what these jokers in this house gonna do.
Ooh.
All them big tall boys, they better do something. That's all I'ma say.
Oh, don't put no expectations on it.
I know. You know what?
Men's will be men.
You know what? I have to say, for Mother's Day, they did surprise me. All the kids cooked dinner, so it was really nice. So yeah,
that's for the whole year. That's for the whole year.
Man, you better tell that. Ain't that the truth? So just the whole year, y'all. Just the whole year. So
yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty excited. What?
That's good. Are we partying? Are we coming to your house?
No, we're not partying.
Okay.
I don't want nobody call the cops talking about the coronavirus, and I had a house party. So.
Right. Do you see how many people are out? People are starting to get out.
Oh my gosh. So in Dallas, Colony, isn't it? Or in Frisco? I don't know. Anyway, there's this new sports store, which is the size of Nebraska furniture. It is massive, right? Like
really
2 stories. It has a Ferris wheel, attractions. I mean, everything that has pertained.
Ferris wheel?
What is that? Yeah, the Ferris wheel, right? Ain't that the Ferris wheel that go around? Yeah.
At a sports store?
Listen, they have this a most beautiful, amazing fish tank I have ever seen, right? So like anything you want to deal with sports, you can go get. Do you know how crowded that place was?
Really?
I wish somebody would say something about Corona.
There was no social distancing.
2 people bumped into my arm. I mean, it was that crowded.
Really?
Oh my gosh. What?
I will be reaching out to them because we need a corporate sponsor. So we need to reach out to them.
Massive. It is huge. Man, it is, it's, oof. Yeah, 2 levels, attractions, you name it, from camping gear, fishing, anything you could
all
want.
kind of
All
sports, not just
every sport there is, lacrosse, hockey, you name it,
wow,
it's in one store.
wow.
Yeah. It's almost like you put two Target, no, two super Walmarts, right? And just kind of put them on top of each other. Basically,
Really,
it's that big. It was nice. It was crowded. Nobody
really.
was, look, girl, I was sitting there like,
Did you have your
oh,
mask on?
COVID what?
Right. See?
Man, I was in there. We was kids in candy store. Oh my God, they got a restaurant in there. They got a candy place in there. I mean, you name it. It was amazing.
Really.
So, yeah.
I mean, the way you just talked about it just makes me want to go and visit,
Oh, you'll
even
be
though I don't
blown
have no
away.
kids playing sports right
You'll be
now.
blown away. But it's everything in there. It's not just them. It's just, I mean, oh, and they got the clothes. It's just, you name it. You have to see it. It's nice. It's nice.
Okay, I have to see it then.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, Karen,
What?
our guest, if you saw our post, we said
Right.
golf.
Right.
And we want to apologize because this is not a golf show. Supposedly, well, what happened is our guest, and there's a golfer that have the exact same name.
Name.
And so when our
We got them crossed.
producer, yeah, got them crossed. And so we apologize because I was ready to talk about golf. I was be like 4. So anyway,
So
we're
you don't want me
excited.
to talk about golf.
Mm-mm,
My
no, Karen.
husband's gone 4 and 5 hours, you know, to hit this little ball in a little hole. And I'm just like, really?
It's fun. I heard it's relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I said too. Just give me a drink. Just give me a
Right.
drink and I'll give me a club, and then we don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
We don't know what's gonna happen. So anyway, we're super excited about our guest, Coach Thomas, University of Truman State University, will be coming. We're going to talk about the recruiting process. I'm telling you, recruiting is it's back up, slowly getting back up. PC to all the high schools here in Dallas. They are now went back to PC. So performance and strengthening, and right, is that right? I think so. I don't know, something like that. So anyway, it's been, all the kids are there. They're showing up, Karen. It's like they're ready to get back at it. I think
Yeah.
high school football is going to be the bomb this year.
Really?
You want to know why? I think it's just that anticipation, that like, I got to come out here and kill it. I've been sitting up in the house. I'm ready to get on this field. I'm ready to take some heads off. I don't know. High school and college. I don't know about NFL.
Yeah, because
But
you saw the report that a lot of NFL players have tested positive. So I'm just wondering, is that going to even just
really?
set back? Yeah, the Cowboys and the Texans, Ezekiel Elliott, he's tested positive.
Oh, I haven't
So
seen that. Oh
I'm
man.
just wondering, is that going to set things back as far as, the big sport,
It may, we just have to wait and see. And that's why we asked the question on the show. What would you do if there's no football? And I know when you first asked the question, that first coach was like, "Wait, what?" And it seems so far off the wall. But then reality started hitting in, like, what are you going to do if you can't? What are you going to do if this is the year 2020, 2020, 2021? There's no sports. Like, you got to think about that,
Yeah.
So um I don't know, but we'll talk to our coach right after this. Hey, Coach Thomas, how are
Hey.
you?
Doing good, doing good.
All right.
Well, let him pronounce his last name first.
It's Kearney. Yeah.
Kearney?
Coach
Yep,
Kearney.
Kearney.
Yep, but I've been called Kearney. It don't matter to me.
Right.
Okay,
It
well, I'm
all
gonna
sounds
stick
the
with
same.
Coach Thomas. I'm gonna stick with Coach
All
Thomas.
right.
All right,
I'm
Coach
just calling
Thomas.
him Coach.
Karen said, I'm gonna just call him Coach. Okay.
Right.
So before we get started, we like to play this game called Would You Rather. Okay, Karen, I need my video.
Okay, here we go.
Every show. Hey, look, I'm proud of my little video, y'all. I worked hard to make that little 3 second scene. All right, so Coach, all right, I'm gonna start off. Would you rather sing like Luther Vandross or Teddy Pendergraph?
I would say Teddy. Yeah.
What? Not
Yeah.
Luther?
No, I like Teddy.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Would you rather be smart and unlucky or dumb and real lucky?
I'd rather be smart and unlucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the other one. Would you rather retire and travel the world in an RV or coach the rest of your life fifth graders?
Oh, definitely the RV. Yeah.
Wait, he
Yeah.
thought about wait, coach, and then he had to hear fifth. Oh no, wait, never mind. I don't like
Yeah.
I don't like coaching that much. I don't like coaching that much. I'll just take the RV. I'll take the RV. All right, coach. So go ahead, Karen. I'll let you go off with the first one.
All right, Coach. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and all that.
Well, I'm actually from Texas. So I'm from the Colony, Texas. I was in the first graduating class at the Colony High School in 1988. Then after that, I spent 6.5 years in the Navy. And then when I left the Navy, I went and played at a small college in Nebraska because my brother was playing there. And so all the guys on the team, I was 25 at the time, so they used to call me Grandpa. So so it was that was unique. And then after that, I left and went back to Texas. I started coaching high school football at Bryan High School.
Mm.
And then I moved back up into the Midwest and got my first college job at Peru State College in Nebraska. And then I went on from there to Northwest Missouri State University in Maryville, Missouri, where I got my master's degree. And then I left there and went to Iowa Wesleyan College in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. And I was also the head track coach there. And then I went to Truman State, where I've been there for the past 12 years and the associate head coach. And so it's been fun.
It's
12 years.
It's
Wow.
amazing. My question is, every coach we've interviewed, you hear different colleges that they work for. Is there a reason why coaches go from college to colleges? Are they trying to look for a certain position they want to get in, or is there an opportunity to climb the ladder? What is the constantly moving around about?
I think it's the opportunity to climb the ladder.
Okay.
More responsibilities. You might be just a position coach at one school, and then the next school might offer you, a chance to be a position coach with an added title, maybe the assistant head coach, special teams coordinator, or just more responsibility. And a lot of times it's just more pay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, you said you had your master's. And so, you hear that little stereotype about, dumb jocks or whatever, but you took it on, you just didn't get your college degree. You went and got your master. And so I think that's a very good example that you're setting for football players that come to your program.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yep. I mean, it was kind of funny how, because I wasn't looking to get it. And then I had an opportunity at Northwest Missouri, and because I was looking for a really, because when I was at Peru State, it was part time, and so I was looking for, full time, but this coach, Coach Mel Churchman, he's in the Hall of Fame. He convinced me, and I was like, all right. And it was kind of hard.
Right.
Married, 2 kids, and
Mm,
being a graduate assistant.
Wow.
So I worked at Walmart at night, actually scrubbing floors, and I also was the
wow.
maintenance guy at the apartment complex that I lived in. So it was rough for a couple years.
Wow.
Wow. So we're going to get into the recruiting process, and it's interesting because I don't think this is a question we ever asked. When you're talking about moving, or when the coaches, are you guys being recruited, or is it just what I think I'm going to apply for this position, or are you guys being approached by is there a such thing as coach being recruited?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
When I first got into the profession, it was you apply, and then they pick the best one. You go on interviews, but I would say within the last 10 years, it's none of that. It's about who you know. Coaches want somebody who they can trust.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and you know, it's I mean, and sometimes you look and see the people that's getting hired, and you're like, oh my God, what's going on?
Right.
What's going on there? But a lot of times it's just who you know. So that's um, the reality of it these days.
So basically, the coaches are being watched. Other words, are they basing it off like, okay, let's say didn't have a good season, but the defense end of it, the defense team was dominating, right? Are they
Right.
looking at things like that? Like, man, their defense was solid. Who is this coach?
Right.
Yeah, and for coordinator positions, I would say that's probably more, if looking at a coordinator, somebody who can, run the side of the ball and, lead.
Mhm.
But I was as far as position coaches, is, like all my experiences is that whenever a coach left our staff, the head coach like, okay, y'all know anybody, or and then you think about, all the conventions or the camps that you work at, somebody who had coached a certain position that you met along the way. So then you just start compiling a list of names, and then you go from there.
Okay.
Because coordinator is a little bit different, but position coach not so much, because you're going to do what the coordinator tell you. So
Yeah.
it's not so much having to have the X's. You got to know what you're doing, but it's not like getting hired as a coordinator.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, as far as in and out in recruiting, when my son was in high school, I didn't know much about recruiting, and so I got in and started reading up on it. And everything that I read, it was talking about, it's not up to the coach for your son to be recruited. You as a parent have to get in there and do
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do. And so some of that, sometimes the programs that our kids go to, they have a really good program, and the coaches take hold of that recruiting. And so sometimes, but then there's times that it is up to the parents. So what advice would you give right out, the number one thing that you would tell a parent when it comes to recruiting their son or daughter being recruited in the sports that
Well,
you've worked?
you gotta find the balance. You got to be involved, but you can't be stepping on toes. You can't speak for your son,
Mm,
but you got to be involved, because if you're not involved, unless very highly recruited where everybody wants you, then there's an opportunity that you can uh, miss out. I mean, because I think what a lot of parents, I think will help them out if they, understand that half of the U.S. population is sitting in a football stadium on Friday nights.
Yep.
mm,
So there's a lot of competition
A
for
lot.
those scholarships, and there's more football players than scholarship dollars. Because at the Division I level, it's apples to apples, full ride. Whether you might want to go to Texas A&M, but you get offered by a lower like Rice or UTEP, but it's still a full ride. But
Yeah.
once you leave that Division I level, now even the 1AA schools on down, there's not, people are not given, full scholarship, so it's partial. So I think if but you definitely got to be involved, because there's so many times I recruited Texas, and there's been times where I've been to school and I only heard about this X player. Then when I got to the school and started looking at the film, I was like, well, who's this kid here?
Yep.
What's his story? And he wasn't even on the list or anything. So I think the parents got to be involved. Plus the parents got to be involved so they can keep the young man straight.
That's right.
Sometimes I kind of look at it as dating, like the prom is instead of choosing the one date who's ready to say yes and go to prom with you, sometimes these young men, they get into, well, how many people can I get dates with before I make a decision?
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't understand that the college football is a business, regardless of what level. So when I call you and I talk to you on the phone, you're gonna get off the phone and say, man, Coach Kearney is really, really nice. But after I hang up that phone, I'm calling somebody else and we're having the same conversation. So unless you are one of the top prospects in the country, I mean, we're gonna move on if you're not ready. So, I always try to get the young men to understand, that I know you want to play football, but where can you play football at the cheapest as possible, financially as suitable to when you graduate, you're not going to have a whole bunch of loans. And sometimes I think that the kids miss the point because they love the recruiting process, but they don't understand the business, aspect of it.
Well, I want to say thank you for being very transparent on that when you said, you're talking to him. When I hang up the phone, I'm picking up and I'm having the same conversation because I think parents needed to hear that. And this is why I say that, because parents will get into that. Oh my God, the coach called me. They're looking at me and that's all they hear. They don't realize,
Right.
well, they're looking at you and they're looking at 5 others. Right.
Right.
So they put all their eggs in one cart and they're thinking, oh, they want me, they want my son. And then, and then if they don't get that, if they don't get picked, then they're hurt, or if the coaches pass on to someone else. So thank you for being transparent on that, because they needed to know that. And the other thing that you said was, when you were talking about when you're watching film footage, and that's actually how my son ended up at OU. So he had offers at OSU, Nebraska, and Kansas, and a few others. And so they were actually, at the time, Bob Stoops' brother was actually looking at someone else on defense at the school that my son, or on a game or something, and saw my son and said, and took his name to the wide receiver coach and said, you need to see this dude. So you're right. That's actually how he got picked up for OU. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like how you was talking about the balance, and don't let the parents speak for their sons. Now that right there is a whole conversation,
Yes,
because a lot of us, I'm guilty
I
for
did.
speaking for my son. I'm definitely guilty. I think I wanted it more than he did. Well, matter of fact, I did want it more than he did.
Right.
And I remember just praying and praying and praying, God, please, God, please. And then one thing I had a thought. I was like, can you imagine how many parents are praying to God about the same thing, but yet there's still so many scholarships? And I was like, okay, God, maybe you want me to pay. Maybe I got the money to pay, and maybe I'm not going to get the scholarship. Maybe I'm going to he's going to walk on. But we don't think anything like that. I have a sister where her son has trained since he was 4 or 5 years old. He has trained for 14 years. The money that he spent on training would have paid for the college degree.
Right. I mean,
But
it's. I mean, I mean, I can't, explain to you how competitive it is. And you're looking at 10 coaches on the staff, and all of them got their recruiting areas. And like at a Division II school, our list is a whole lot more than a Division I school, because they're recruiting the top tier kids. But the Division II level, like for example, I'm probably going to start off with 300 or 400 kids myself, and then you
wow.
look at the other 9 coaches, and they got the same amount of kids, but we only signed 30 to 35 players. And
Mm,
so, when we all get back off the road, now we're sitting in there and they put that film up. And now you got every coach, we're all competitive and we all want our guy. So
Right.
now, it's like a war room. We're going to battle just to find those 36 kids. And so, that's the bad side of it, because you get to know kids. And some of the hardest conversations that you have is when you tell them that I don't,
Yeah.
we're not going to have a
You're
scholarship
not gonna
for
have
you.
yeah. That
Yeah,
has to be very hard.
yeah.
Has to be very hard. So, um, I the recruiting since the COVID, how has that been for you guys? Because that's something we've asked all the coaches that come on, whether it's basketball, football, soccer, whatever. How has the recruiting process been now for you guys since the COVID?
Well, the only thing that really has changed is not being able to get out and work camps,
Yeah.
or seeing the kids in person. Sometimes you get prospect sheets and they're maybe not as big as what they said it was, or they might be a little bit bigger, or as fast. So that's about the only thing. But as far as the recruiting, it's still full swing. I mean, with the huddle,
Yeah.
you still can go out and evaluate all the guys that you need to on huddle. So I don't think that recruiting has missed the beat at all. If anything, I think as coaches, we're probably a little bit more organized, because since we're not on the road, now
mm.
we're really actually able to sit down and watch a little bit more film without the interruptions of traveling and stuff like that.
Now let me ask you this: since COVID-19 has come in, those it signing day had already happened, and so since COVID-19, the kids have signed their letter of intent,
Yeah.
which is like a contract, but
Right.
is the NCAA giving people the option to change their minds since COVID-19?
Yeah.
Like parents may say, no, I don't want you to go
Nervous.
off. And
Yeah.
so therefore, allowing you to void that letter of intent due to COVID-19.
No, I haven't heard anything. All the guys we signed, they're still firmly committed, and so I don't think it's a problem at all.
Oh,
Mm, okay. Okay. So, man, this is it's so much going on with the recruiting, the under the table recruiting. I think that's something we haven't talked about yet with any of our coaches. Um, have you seen that out of all the years of recruiting? Have you not done it? Because I don't believe that's something you've done, but have you seen it, the under the table recruiting?
Uh, you know, I probably at the Division II level, I haven't seen the under the table. The I think the most things at the Division II thing that maybe coaches negatively recruit against other schools. I always had a philosophy. When I was recruiting a young man, sometimes their parent or that young man would ask me, well, why should I go to your school instead of this school? And what do you think? And I was like, well, I don't work there, so I don't know. I can't speak of what that coach is like, or what their atmosphere is like. The only thing I can do is sell you on Truman State, and that's it. And And you're gonna have to do the research, when you go on your official
Mm.
visit and compare uh, the school. And the most important is compare your teammates and the guys that you're going to be, fit in well with them, or
Right.
do those roles equals, how you was raised and stuff. So, um, I haven't seen the only thing I experienced is negative recruiting, but I haven't seen any under the table stuff. Yeah.
What do you mean by under the table?
So you have because you have some coaches, especially if there is an athlete that is like this solid athlete, and he's got, let's say he has 15 to 20, big colleges looking at him, and you've heard about it because in the town that I used to live in Tulsa, I've seen it happen even just in high school. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? I've seen it happen. I mean, that's why I asked the question.
You talking about getting paid or buying their
So
mama a
it's under
car?
so-called under the table. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll slide you this under this table if you go, make sure we have your son. I mean, it's real. It happens. I mean, look at the celebrity, the actress who basically did that to get her kid in college. You know
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
So, and it's happening. I mean, this is reality, but that's why I asked the question. So let's talk about character when it comes to recruiting. Um, Do coaches pass up a good athlete? I mean, they're solid. I mean, the guy is solid, but his character is what it's like. Do we really want to take him on and deal with this, or it's not even worth it?
I think character is one of the most important things, but like I said, I was at the Division 2 level, whereas Division 1 is all talent. I mean, it's a business. We got to win football games, but yeah, I think character is very important because I always didn't want to be the coach that brought somebody on campus who didn't do what they were supposed to do,
Wow.
or didn't go to class, or get in trouble. So I think character is one of the most important things. And the only time character don't matter is when you're elite talent. Then somebody might take a chance on you. But
Right.
if you're not, but you got to be able to have that elite talent. But if you're not elite, then that character is going to be number one.
Now, it, is this true that the bad boys are better players?
No, no.
You mean the ones that's getting in trouble? My uncle is a coach, and he was like, he said this because they don't have no fear
They have a chip
Right.
of
on
anything.
their shoulder. They got something to prove. They have a certain swag, and you do. I've heard that too. That you know, in some cases, it's usually that bad boy swag kind of guy that always get the lead, whether male or female. You know what? I haven't really seen it in
Mhm.
the females, right?
Right.
So when we talk about football and basketball, you see it a lot when it comes to men. I don't know if it's a man thing. I don't know if it's I'm gonna pump my chest, you pump your chest thing, but it seems like you have a lot of athletes who has that mentality usually get the position, you know. So I don't know.
Right.
It's just I've heard it too, but I guess coach said no, that ain't true.
Yeah, I guess it all depends, because sometimes that the guys I dealt with, they have the swagger on the field, but when the camera's not rolling or they nobody's there, they sometimes the most quiet guys. You got to get them to talk.
Mhm.
But then we have some that you got to keep your finger on them the whole time because it's game on all day. With
Right.
them. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So when you're recruiting, you have, let's say, for instance, there's a young man. He's really good. I mean, solid player, but he wants to be a doctor. And let's say the university doesn't offer everything he needs for that degree. I mean, are you picking them? I mean, how do you guys help these athletes make this decision? In other words, it's like, okay, do I really want to go to this college because it's a D1? They offer me a full ride, but they don't have what I need for where I'm going because do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
how do you do that when you offer them and you're just like, listen, we want to offer you a chance to play for us, are you showing them this is what we got when it comes to education? What's your major? Well, here we offer this, 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 and this. We're number one in this. Or are you just offering them a position to play?
Well, I think it gotta be both. I mean, I will always, like the one thing our school never had was engineering. And whenever I recruited somebody and they told me that they definitely want to be an engineer, then I just said, well, I can't recruit you because we don't have engineering. I don't feel right, recruiting somebody and tell them that, well, you can do this, you can do that, if their heart is not set on it.
Right.
So I think if the quality coaches and the good coaches, if they don't have that major, they're going to tell them that, yeah, I hate, I don't want to line up. I don't want to see you on the opposite side of the field. But if that's what your heart's set on, then I think as a coach, you got to, let him follow his heart.
Well, I like that. That says a lot because, like, again, you have, I mean, honestly, they're out there. You have recruiters and coaches that don't do that. They like, you're the star. We're gonna, we need you on our team. And I'm wondering if you're having these kind of conversation with them, and like, because football doesn't last forever.
Right.
Injuries happen, things happen, and so if you get a kid who goes there, but his major is not there, like you said, engineering, he gets hurt, then what?
Right. Yeah,
You
well,
know?
I think a lot of times, kids are into the glitter and so I think what usually happens, especially with these schools that got the great facilities, is that a young man may have, he wants to do this, and all of a sudden he goes look at the weight room or he go look at the stadium and stuff like that. And now he's like, well, maybe I can do something else. But he's not happy once he gets to the school because they don't have his major. Because once you get there, I mean, we always said that, it was just two phases of recruiting.
Okay.
The first phase of recruiting is me sitting in your home, talking to the parents, getting you on a visit, calling you, writing you letters, text message you, Twitter you, and you're like, hey, I love Coach. Second phase of recruiting is when you show up. And then you realize that it ain't the buddy like now you're going to go to class, and now is a little bit more forceful on making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So there's actually, we used to say there's two phases of recruit. We got to recruit you, then we got to de-recruit you when you get there, so you're not walking around like you're special. Yeah.
Actually, I bet, especially those high top recruits, they probably do walk around like, I'm the man, I'm a start. You know what I'm saying? They got that swag, and then all of a sudden, the coaches come and put a pin in it, and it's like, no, this is what you're about to do.
Well, a lot of times it's the coach. We have to do a little bit, but sometimes they show up for that first summer workout. And then you look at them after that workout, and you just sit on their face like, man, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. So sometimes they humble themselves, but because I always, when I recruited a kid, I always felt like if I recruit you, then I become your parent when you show up.
Wow.
And and a lot of the players I coach now that they grown, married, and got kids, and they come back for homecoming, they're like, Coach, you're actually kind of cool and kind of nice and stuff. And it was like, but the biggest portion is seeing you walk across that stage. Once you walk across that stage, now we become friends because you graduated. But up to that point, I got to make sure that you get out of school, because I had players that never played a down in college. I mean, they come to practice every day, worked hard, and never played, but are doctors and lawyers. Then I have guys who was all conference or whatever, and decided not to get the degree. And so when you look at the end of the day, once football's over with, who actually was more successful?
Right.
So I always, because football's not going to go on. And so I always felt that It's not, coaches shouldn't be preparing the young men for the 4 years that they have them. It should be the 40 years after they're done,
Mm,
with football.
Right. Right.
that's good. So when you're recruiting, what exactly are you really looking at? Are you looking at, when you look at film, are you looking at hand movements? Are you looking at feet movement? Are you looking at their height, their weight? What exactly do you look at when
Sure.
you're actually recruiting players?
It all depends on the position. A lot of times, some of your coaches get fired because they look at the height, the weight, the 40 time. And then there's some programs where the coaches do real good because they're looking at a person who's committed and that works hard. So it's a combination of everything. But the main thing is I think most coaches would like to see a kid. Is he making plays? And that's the most. Is he making plays? When I turn on your film, are you making plays? And I tell you that the biggest mistake in recruiting, and I think this would be something for parents to really look at, is a lot of times a coach will tell them that when you send in your highlight video, send 5 minutes a video because coaches get bored and they don't want to look at a long highlight tape.
Right.
And I would say that is the biggest misconception that's out there,
Hmm.
because if you send me 5 minutes of highlights and I got 30 other guys and they got 15 minutes of highlight, I don't have time to go back and ask you to send me 10 more minutes to get on even with them. I'm gonna go with the person who got the most high. So I think I always tell kids that what you put anything you do good, whether it's defense, offense, special teams, because I can always turn it off. I can always
Wow.
look and say, oh, what I see, but I don't have time when you're dealing with a whole bunch of kids come back and ask, hey, and you send me some more highlight video. So because the highlight video is their resume, you know,
Mm,
uh,
Right.
you know, and I always tell them, when you send me your highlight video, you gotta help me help you.
mm.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, I've seen it, pros and cons about it. Is it okay to have music in their highlight video?
Yeah, yeah, I think it is. Just got to make sure that those no curse words are in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Like the
that's the music today.
just
It's
put the
yeah,
instrumental.
Lil Wayne, people they
yeah,
pick.
No.
yeah.
Just have
And
the
and then you got and I always say especially for our young black men players out there, you know it may not offend me if I listen to it, but then there might be other coaches who ain't used to it.
yeah.
So there's that stereotype. So now you off the board because when they do it and they
Exactly.
don't understand it, they're like, man, this guy's gonna be a troublemaker or whatever. So I always say, yeah, make sure if you're gonna use the music, make sure it's clean. And but a lot of times,
Just
some
use
of the
the
coaches,
instrumental.
yeah, they just
Yeah.
sometimes you turn it off,
I mean, you're
but
trying to watch a play, and all of a sudden you hear bloop bloop and doop doop and boop 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 boop, and you're like, you're trying to watch the play because I've seen it, right? Because on the huddle, and you're going,
right,
what did he just say? What? So yes, I could see that being stereotyped. I really can. And
yeah.
it's like, I see what you listening to. I ain't even gonna take a chance.
Well,
So
but the music is bad, but it's not. The worst part is when you get a highlight video like a quarterback and he's throwing the ball like he's like, look at my arm strength, and the ball goes really far, but yet he throws the interception. And you're like, yeah, they look good, but you don't, that's the type of stuff that
yeah,
you just kind of shaking your head on, or somebody a kid goes in to make a tackle, and it's a hard tackle, but then we see him, like he's on the ground rolling around, like he's the one suffering from the tackle, that is what, I mean, sometimes we get that film, and I mean, it's comical. You like, I know he just didn't put this on his highlight.
Wait,
Yeah.
uh, I did not know what a highlight was, and so when my son was in when I asked the coach for the highlight and I went to huddle and I saw other players how they were in every game, and then my
Hmm.
son he was only in 3 games or something, and I was like, wait a minute, why is he not? Why is does he not have the same amount of games? I thought the highlight was the games that were in, and so
Right.
coach had said, Miss Reese, every play that he do, that's not a highlight. I said, I said, what? So highlight is showing something, a
That's solid.
technique that he
Right.
did. Did he hold his block?
Exactly.
Did he get away? And so a lot of people don't know what a highlight is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a certain,
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, he made a nice catch, touchdown, that it's not every game. It's just it's like
Right.
solid where the coach goes, wow. You got to wow 'em, like that was
Yeah.
good. Okay, I see his strength there. I mean, they know, I believe coaches know, okay, you're not gonna be a perfect kid every game. You're gonna drop a ball, you're gonna miss running a route, you're gonna miss a tackle. We get that.
Right.
But if they could see, that's kids teachable. I see it
Mm.
because high school and college are two different levels, and I want to go there. So
Mm.
when you have high school is about winning championships like college.
Right.
Do you feel that the high school coaches really get the kids ready for college? Physically and mentally, because it's a whole different ball game. Because I know when my son left he went to Jeans, and I have to say, rest his soul, Coach Trimbles, I loved it because he brought in trainers from college, and when I say he got those boys ready for high school, I mean for college.
Right.
So when my son went to OU, he's like, "Man, mom, I actually am thankful for Coach Trimble because not only mentally, physically, it was like this, I could do this. He wasn't hanging over, hurling and like, I don't know if I could do this. It was like he was mentally and physically ready. Do you
Right.
feel high school coaches actually get the guys ready for high school? I mean, for college?
I think most of them do, but I think like Jinx and Union, those schools in your area, they already established a tradition of the kids going off to college. So the younger kids, they probably looking up. They was like, hey, I hope to do that someday. But I think the schools that got the more resources do. But sometimes, you got schools where, you got a coach and everybody else is part time, you know.
Wow.
So it's those differences. And, I've seen it where, I recruited a kid from, a big name school in which he was all state, and you're like, okay, we're expecting big things from him. And then I seen kids that come from the school that didn't barely, he's sitting in your room, you're like, who is this? I ain't recruiting him. Where he come from?
Mm.
And you're like, this is just another body. But then in 3 days, you're like, hey, he's gonna play over this other guy because so sometimes, even though they don't come from the big school, they got some of them got untapped potential that you don't know what they have until
Mm.
they get there. So it's trying to balance it out is kind of interesting.
So now when it comes to social media and the recruiting, because there's so many different steps, there's so many things that you guys look at, like I said,
Hmm.
you're looking at, okay, how well is this, coach preparing them? I know you guys probably ask the coaches, tell me about this kid. Um, and so that's another kind of way, that's an angle. And then social media. What do you guys look for that will turn you away or that will say this kid's a leader and we need him?
You know, uh, if it's I realize that, all the kids are different,
Right.
and when you recruiting a different, diverse, what matters to somebody may not matter to somebody else.
Right.
But if they got guns, they having pictures and they got guns and a whole bunch of cash, and that's probably a red flag right there,
That's all
and
music
yeah,
videos.
yeah. But if it's kids just being kids, you like, okay, hey, you just having fun. But or somebody make a speech about an ethnic group or something like that, and you're like, whoa, well, maybe we don't need to recruit him because, most college football programs is going to be diverse. All these, you got kids coming from different ethnic backgrounds and financial. Some people, parents got money, some people's in the middle, and some people don't. So, the less problems you can recruit, the better off it's going to be. Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead, Karen.
Do you think players should be paid?
I'm kind of back and forth on it because, in one instances, you got a lot of coaches that are millionaires, and some of their former players are out there struggling because they didn't, while they was making plays on the field, everything was all fine and dandy, but they didn't make sure that they got their degree. But that coach is signing the contract extension and he's living good. But then, and on the other hand, it's all, you're getting paid education wise through a scholarship that a lot of other students don't have, because I kind of feel like they're getting paid because, my wife coaches at North Carolina volleyball at North Carolina State. And before she got there, she was at the University of Arkansas. And, the stuff, from me, Division II coach, to seeing what, the facilities and, the skills and more tutors than the average student. I mean, so it's in a way, it's kind of like you're getting paid in sort of.
You got to weigh it out.
Yeah, you got to weigh it out. But I can understand why, because you got a lot of coaches that, make $8-9 million a year off of the young men who can barely eat and stuff like that. But I think we're heading that direction.
Well, I think it's an educational thing, and I'll tell you why.
Right.
Because like my son had a full ride, he did get a stipend, and as a parent, I hate that because I had 5 children, and they were kind of close to stair steppers, married, and
right.
So I didn't really. I always talked to my son about a plan B, and we had heart to hearts about college. I'm
right.
like, you get a degree. You don't get to leave school early. I don't care if the draft call you. I don't care if they offer you $20 million. You need to finish, because if something happens, you have that degree, and we're going to use it even when you play. But I didn't really focus on teaching him that when you get your stipend, like you said, you actually are getting something, right?
Yeah.
Puts money.
You got to pay your rent. Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, the first 2 years, the college is paying for it. So I didn't tell him, put it away. I kind of just let him have fun with it. And I mean, he bought him some gear and some things like that. But now after he graduated and I look back, I'm like, man, I missed that one. Like I should have put 1,000 away, keep, this, put another 1,000 away, keep this. By the time you graduated, you could have had at least, it's not much, but I'm going to say at least 10,000, right? That's not much, but you would have had something. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I didn't teach him that. And so my last 3, I'm actually going to set that up where it's like, you don't get all your stipend. You're going to put some away and you can live off of this, because especially if you get a full ride, I mean, coaches, you guys are giving them meals. They can eat all 3 times. They got a card. They can eat. They have, especially these D1 schools like at OU. Oh my God, that new facility they had. I mean, they had snacks. They had a card they can eat. I mean, they had clothes, the shoes, the T-shirts. So it's not like you really needed to use that money. So it is a catch-22. I think the ones that probably should get paid more is maybe the ones that are D2, D3, and JUCO, because they don't have this. They don't have what a D1 college at a level like OU, those big ones. It's amazing.
Yeah, because once you leave the Division I arena, from 1AA, most of their full ride scholarships go to Division I bounce backs. Because the first thing I told them that we're not going to give you a full ride. Now, D2 schools, we will go full rides, but you're going to have to come in and prove yourself. Yeah. It's kind of like the NFL, where you get paid for your play.
That's right.
But when you look at it outside of Division One, you got a lot of players that are paying to play because they're not getting a full ride.
Oh
Whether
yeah.
they're taking
Yeah,
out loans
they're
or got to
taking out
work in
loans
the
to play.
summer,
That's right. Yeah.
and so they're actually paying to play.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Haven't
Now,
really thought about it like that.
yeah. Now, I think that maybe they should be able to use their name, whether they design their own T-shirt line,
Yes.
whether design, work for it. Use your name, be creative, design a bow tie, design something,
Right.
because basically teaching them to be entrepreneurs. Yes. Now, I think they should be able to do that.
Yeah.
But
The only issue that I have is how you going to regulate it.
yeah.
Because Cam Newton probably when he was at Auburn, he deserved a lot more money than somebody else. And so I was just like, how do you regulate it and keep the team together so you don't have that divisiveness? Well, but look at him, look what he getting, and that's the only thing that I worry about.
Well,
Yeah.
if it's a team, I would think that everybody should get paid the same. If you're promoting team, it takes all of us.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
think.
So we had a young man on here, quarterback at an HBC, and he actually started his own dessert company.
Yeah, sweets in a
And
jar.
sweets in a jar. And while he was playing, after he get done, he go in there, he make his sweets, and that's how he made his living. He built his own
Yeah.
company. So I think if you could do it that way, that's fine. Like you said, if
Right.
you're at a D1 and you're like high recruited, you're getting paid anyway. Like I said,
Oh yeah.
you're getting that stipend. There's nothing you should want for.
Right. And then when you look at the stipend that you're getting, but when you look at the cost of education these days, and it's not going down, it keeps going up, and you add the tuition, the housing, the stipends, the tutors. There's a lot of students out there that don't have that. So I understand why they should get a little something, but at the same time, that the education is more important than being paid, being able to have that opportunity, because there's a lot of kids that don't have that opportunity, or the parents can't afford to send them to school.
Can't afford to even let them walk on. It's
Yeah.
it's an arm, a leg, a neck, a back, an eyeball, a nose, an ear.
Right.
Telling you, it's
That's why
man.
it's just, and I think what y'all are doing good is bringing that recruiting issue, is because I think sometimes the finances are not talked about in recruiting, especially if you're not getting a full ride. And I think parents and the students got to educate themselves, because I can tell you a little story. Is once you got to be the lower the level, the more involved and active you got to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not getting a full ride.
Nope.
So say if my school costs $10,000, and I'm recruiting another school in the same conference, but they cost $35,000, but we're in the same division too. So if I offer you $8,000, you only got $2,000 left. If the other school offer you 10, you still got 25 left over. So you got to be able to do the math.
Yep.
Because there's been times I've been on the phone with parents, and they was like, "Well, it's an insult. You only offering us 8, and such is offering us 35." And you like, but it costs 70,000 to go there.
Right.
So you getting 35, but it's 35.
Right.
They don't. So they look at the initial scholarship dollar.
Yeah.
And they like, well, this one is it's just crazy. I'm like, well, you come here.
Attention. They're not educated on it, because even on that, it's like a full ride is technically not a full ride.
Right.
I learned that. It's 1 year at a time.
Yeah. Well, I think they might have changed it at the Division I level, but I know, it's 1 year.
1 year at a time. So you can you could be there and got that full ride for that year, and that next year they could be like, no.
Oh yeah, especially if you ain't producing. They
So
like,
you
hey,
ain't
we need that.
producing. So we
We
need
got to
that
get that
money.
scholarship back.
That's right. You holding up that money for this one over here, and so they can cut you down or cut you off. So you that full to get that money every year. It's really a character. It's
Right,
not so much your performance, but it's character, it's
Mm.
heart, it's because you've got to keep that 4 years, that money going for
right.
4 years.
Well,
So
I think that if a coach if he cuts somebody's scholarship, then I think he's lacking some type of accountability because you're the one recruiting him.
right.
You know,
Mm.
you evaluated him and you the one recruiting him. And even if he's not producing, what are we supposed to be having these kids in college for? To get an education. That's what we sit
Edge.
in the homes and tell the
Right.
parents that we want him to get the degree.
Edge.
So whether he become a good player or not, we still should be able to let him get that degree. So I kind of have a problem with coaches that they want to get rid of them because you don't want to recruit.
Yeah.
You signed off on them, then because if you cut his scholarship, you don't know what his family financial situation is. So now there's loans and debts and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I was like, let him get the
But like
degree
you
and
said, coach,
yeah,
it's a business.
yes,
You said it. It's a business, and it's the same thing with the NFL because our son went to the NFL, so we're going through
hmm
that process. It's like, okay, well, you got new guys coming in, they got more numbers on the board, or it's a business. Somewhere we're leaving the passion of the sport.
right,
Back then, like when you look at Michael Jordan and when you look at those going back, it was a passion to play,
Mm.
right?
right,
It wasn't really about the money for a lot of them if you keep going back, but it was a passion to get on the
right,
field, to get on the court. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Now it's how many butts can you put in my stadium?
Mm.
exactly. Yep, yep,
And so that's why Karen asked the question, the bad boys, because you tend to see a lot of the bad boy athletes get the position because they put the butts in the seats. And
Mm.
right,
for some reason, everybody like an acting up athlete. I don't get it. It's like, wait, what? But and they're spending money for the jersey. They're spending money for their jersey, hats, whatever,
right,
shoes. So it's a business. It's like how
yes.
much money you gonna bring in, how many butts you gonna put in the seat. Somewhere we're leaving the passion of playing.
But at some point in time, and you see it a lot in coaching, is that bad boy is going to come back and bite them.
Man, you better say that,
It
coach.
always happens, whether it's a year later when he out in town or when he graduate, then he got, is at some point in time, if you let that stuff slide, it's going to come back and bite you.
Yeah.
So before we close, what would you say to not only the parent, but even the athlete? Because I know you've probably seen there's parents who wants it, like Karen said, more than their child. When you go in, you could probably pick up on, okay, this parent wanted more than him. I can see his body language. He
Mm.
really doesn't want to play, but the mom and them are making him play. When it comes to recruiting, what would you tell the parent, and actually what would you tell the athlete?
I would say is they should talk and discuss about what that prospect wants before I get involved.
Mm.
So now they're on the same page, and then there's not conflicting, because it's times where when you go into somebody's home and you leave, you've been there for 2 hours, you leave, and I ain't said one word to the kid. I don't even know what he likes and dislikes, you know. And I've been there for 2 hours and I don't know
I was
nothing.
like, "Hey, I came for the kid. I ain't come for
Yeah.
you." Like your
Yeah,
days of playing is over. I need you to go sit over. I'm talking to the kid, right?
yeah. You like, man, you like, I don't know nothing more. I've been here
You
for
don't know
two
who you
hours.
recruit, coach, right? Like
Yeah,
who am I
yeah,
recruiting? The mom and the daddy or the kid?
Right. Wait,
I
I
don't
thought
know
that's what
nothing.
the visit is for. It's for the family.
It is. Okay, 'cause, look, it is because like when Jordan's recruiter came, we were there, but we let him do all the talking with Jordan. We just was there as there's questions we asked about the educational part, but we were, that was their conversation. So it's like
Right.
I said, it's like, wait, am I recruiting you or your child?
You
Yeah.
recruiting the whole family.
I'm asking,
Yeah.
well, what about this? And is it gonna start? And I can imagine. Oh my gosh, coach, I can imagine you were probably sitting there like, really?
Oh, I can tell you some recruiting stories. I've been to homes where, I got to the home that had like 8 dogs and 3 cats, and I got the 2 cats wrapped around my neck. I got a dog on my lap, and then
Oh
I
my
got,
gosh. Oh my gosh.
and I got one dog on my shoulder, and I turned around to talk to the
Yeah, I
kid,
thought that
and
was
me
only
and
in
the
the movies.
dog, yeah, me and
I
the
thought that
dog
was
was
only in the
talking. We
movies.
nose to nose. I was like, I can, sometimes when you leave, you like, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh my god. I thought that was only he said one cat wrapped around my neck, the other one on my shoulder. Oh
I never heard that before.
Yeah, it's sometimes where you like, man, what's going on here?
say
You
what?
like, whoa,
Say, what house did I just walk into?
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, I'd have been on the floor. I know you left like, really? The cat talking to
yeah,
you in one ear, trying to tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? The
You
dog, that's
recruited the
like,
whole
yeah,
family
wait,
with the dogs
and
and
they
cats.
the
and
dog
they
looking
was
at him like, you better pick him. Like, wait, what? Did you
and
trust
then they was
the pet?
telling me, they was like, oh, they really like people, and I'm sitting, I got them, I'm like, yeah, I can see that. But it was all worth it because he turned out to be a great running back for us. So
Oh
it
wow.
was all worth it. But I left. I was like, man, I was like, they ain't gonna believe this, And man, I mean, it was like, I had pets everywhere. I was like,
Wow.
whoa.
Hey, it's the job of recruiting. I tell you what.
Yep.
Oh wow.
All right, coach. Before we go, I'm gonna put you on the spot as we do all of our coaches. Are you ready?
Yep.
What's the nicest thing you have said to a ref?
Uh,
All the coaches pause.
you know what?
Ding, 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 ding.
I don't even talk to him. I don't even
Come
talk
on,
to them.
coach. Out of all
Yeah,
your years, come on now. I see.
because they ain't gonna change. I mean, I mean, you can yell at them, but you can see them like the refs gonna take it personal. So they sitting up there like, yeah, all right. And they got their hand on that flag, just waiting for somebody to
So
say something.
not no good game. How one coach said he said, "How was your ride here?" I said, "Is that what you said to the ref?" He said, "Yeah." And then the other coach said, "Good game." Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't even talk to them because I know they're gonna make me mad. So I might as well, you know what? Because we will be talking here, and I'd be like, he's a good guy. The next thing them flags start driving, like, oh man, I don't like you after all. Yeah.
wow. Well, coach, this was great interviewing,
Yeah.
finding, digging a little bit more deeper into the recruiting. I think it's something that really a lot of parents really do need to be educated on because it's going to change.
Yes.
Because especially after the COVID, so much is going to change, and we really need to understand. Parents really need to understand what it's about. It's
Yes.
and there you have those parents. I always say you can't live through your kid. Your time is done.
Right.
Sorry you missed it or you didn't or however it is, but this is about your child and their education. And this
Yes.
is about making the right decision. And this is about teaching them how to make right decisions and ask
Yeah.
questions for themselves because it is them that has to go there. You're not going to go to the classroom. You're not going to do their homework. You're not going to be at that campus. It's them. So you have to help
Right.
them say, okay, is this where you really want to go? How do you feel? Have, like you said, take the visits. Even with my son, it's like, let's go visit. We took the
Right.
visit, we rode around Norman. It's like, this is where you're going to be for the next 4 years.
Right.
Do you really want to be here? And my second oldest, for God, I don't understand how this joker found a college in Utah called Ephraim.
Right.
Population of 8,000 people in the mountains, cold.
Yes, cold.
Cold. It's a JUCO. He's like, Mom, I want to go here.
Right.
I'm like, are you sure? Yes, Mom. Did you do the research? Yes, Mom. Well, I was asking all kind of questions. And so when we went up there and we rode around the town, I was like, are you sure this is where you're going to be? This is where you want to be? He goes, Mom, yes, I did the research. And actually it turned out great. He made great friends. He liked it. It was small. They didn't get into no trouble. But these are the heart-to-heart conversations parents have to have with their child. It's not
because
go ahead, Coach.
Because if the kid wants to be there, the chance of him graduating and doing good things goes up dramatically.
Yes.
If he's going somewhere where he doesn't want to be there, then he's not going to do good.
Right.
And then I think parents got to understand, are you recruiting the school or the school recruiting you? Because if the school is recruiting you, then they got a plan for you. They have a vision for you. But if you're recruiting the school, then they might just let you on the team, so they need another body.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
That's good.
It's very good. So, all right, Coach Thomas, thank you so much. I hope those that are watching will understand the process and get more aware about it. Congratulations. Your wife is the coach at, what did you say?
North Carolina
State.
So you'll be moving to North Carolina. Last question. I got to ask this. What's the conversation like? Because both of you are coaches, so I know you're competitive in the house.
Actually, she's actually on the phone right now recruiting.
Oh, wow.
I can hear her. The whole thing is she's been on the phone all night, recruiting. But really, when we get home, we just try to leave it.
Wow.
You spend so much time at the office and weekends and during the season recruiting, and when we get home, we just leave it, and just family time and talk and have dinner, because by the time you get home, you're like, I don't want no, so I don't want to talk about football or anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now will you coach where she's at, or what are you going to do now?
I don't know.
Retire. Go ahead, coach the fifth grade kids.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking about maybe possibility is going back to high school. So right now I'm just enjoying this time off. So she's probably ready to get me out of the house. But I like the time off. So
stay safe. We thank you for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
Tell your wife we're gonna have to have her on and talk
yes,
volleyball. That's what I used to
need
play
her on.
in high school.
Right.
I love volleyball. So we'll have to have her on to talk volleyball language, huh? Lingo.
Yeah,
All
sounds
right.
good.
All right. So this your girl Shannon at Can We Talk Sports. I'm here with my host.
Karen.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna work on her intro, y'all.
Karen.
I'm trying. All right, we will be back Thursday.
Maybe,
but we will. I don't know where they're gonna be. I won't be back Thursday because I'm gonna be celebrating my birthday weekend. Yes,
your
okay.
birthday
Weekend. So anyway, everybody have a great night, and we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.